Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think they had. We still don't have.
Mhm.
Oh. All right, well, the first part, oh, we didn't. Until 15 minutes ago.
Go back. We were right before.
You get something to drink? Yeah. Did you get something to drink? Okay.
Good afternoon, board members, college, staff, administration, faculty, students, and guests. The time is 6:10 on this, the 25th day of July, 2024. And I call this meeting of the Laredo College Board of Trustees to order. If I can have Mr. Delgado say the prayer and Mr. Rangel, the Pledge of Allegiance, can you all please rise?
Loving and gracious God, we gather before you with hearts full of gratitude for the myriad of gifts and blessings you have bestowed upon us. We are deeply thankful for the successful outcomes of our college events and for the unwavering dedication of our faculty, staff, and students. We humbly seek your abundant blessings as we navigate the responsibilities and challenges before us. We ask for your wisdom to guide our minds, your courage to embolden our spirits, and your strength to sustain us through our endeavors. Be present in our deliberations, Lord, and grant us the ability to make the decisions that are not only wise, but also rooted in justice and compassion. May our choices always reflect the highest good for all of those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. As we continue to serve and lead, may we do so with hearts full of gratitude and humility, always seeking to honor. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Can I have Miss Jackie Levin Ramos, roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Lupita Cepeda,
President?
Jorge J.D. Delgado,
Present.
Jackie Levin Ramos present, Erica Benavides Garcia,
Present.
Cindy Liendo, absent, Mercurio Martinez Jr.,
Absent.
absent, Esteban Rangel, Karina Elizondo,
Present.
Tita Cantu Vela, absent. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The next item is approval of the minutes of the budget workshop of June 20th, 2024, board retreat of June 22nd, 2024, and the regular monthly board meeting of June 27th, 2027. Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Ms. Ramos and Mr. Rangel. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any public testimony? Thank you. Next item is number 5, recognitions, introduction of personnel and new personnel actions for the month. 5A is recognition of Sergeant Ramon Salazar, Laredo College Campus Police Department, Dr. David Alesola, and Mr. Jose Hernandez.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Ramirez, colleagues. I'm here today to honor and privilege Sergeant Ramon Salazar with the Meritorious Award Service from the Laredo College Police Department. This is an award that's given on a basis of a single particularly important achievement that exemplifies an act of distinctive valor, great courage in hazardous work or in an emergency. So let me tell you that on May 21st, 2024, the Laredo College Police Department received a call from Border Region notifying us of an individual on the bridge that was straddling the railing, experiencing a mental health crisis, right? The call came in, Sergeant Salazar was the first to respond, and for the first 24 minutes of his interaction with the individual, he engaged the individual with, you know, precision, remarkable patience, in a situation where one missed word or one gesture or one false step could have made the difference between life and death. He exhibited patience, empathy. He was composed. His efforts were critical, and he stayed with this young man until we received some support from the Laredo Police Department's mobile crisis outreach team. Now, Sergeant Salazar remained on the scene throughout the event, which lasted about 75 minutes from beginning to end. And but his presence there, even when MCOT was there, his presence provided a calming effect on the individual. I took some time this afternoon myself to watch the body cam video of the incident, and it was amazing to watch. Actually, very emotional to watch this individual go through the emotions that he was going through, and watch Sergeant Salazar help him get out of that ordeal. So today, on behalf of Laredo College, and I want to extend our deepest gratitude to Sergeant Salazar. We're going to present you today with a meritorious service pin, and it's a testament of your outstanding achievement, your unwavering commitment to the excellence in the line of duty, and we are incredibly proud to have you as part of our team. Chief, you want to add?
Chief Jose Hernandez, LTPD, members of the board, President,
The mic.
and thank you. And I just want to say that on that day, I was there present that day. Lasted about 75 minutes, an hour and some. Phenomenal. He literally saved the man's life. For those first 25 minutes of the interaction was amazing. And thank you for that.
So Sergeant Salazar, we have a certificate recognition. It's presented in recognition of your extraordinary actions and unwavering commitment during a critical time. Your actions of bravery, compassion, and support during a challenging moment have made a profound difference in the life of someone in need. You are an inspiring example of the power of empathy and service, presented this 25th day of July 2024 on behalf of Laredo College and all of the board of directors. Thank you, Sergeant Salazar, for all your work.
There. As we get to the pinning ceremony, and Ms. Cepeda, if you'll pin Sergeant Salazar, we have a pin. It's a meritorious pin for him. We are honored as your colleagues and as people who depend on the service of men and women like you, who very much give up put yourself last and put these people first, and your service and your valor and the dignity that you showed that man that day. I was fortunate to see the video. Sir, we are so proud to have you as part of our family, and certainly to know that there are people like you and that you are out there leading the way for us. So thank you very much for everything that you do and for dedicating yourself to the service of others. God bless you. Oh, yeah.
That's the.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to continue with the next item, 5B, introduction of personnel actions. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yes, we have several new hires that are here with us today that we'd like to recognize and welcome to our Laredo College family. As I call your names, if you'll please come forward and so that we can take a picture with you. Isaías J. Alcorta, Class Instructional Lab Assistant. He was hired on July 1st. Instructional Assistant for Instructional Technology, Elizabeth M. Garcia. Public Information Officer, Television and Podcast Productions Director, Mr. Ruben Villarreal, no stranger to all of us. Staff Accountant 1, Accounting and Restricted Grants, Stephanie J. Camero. I don't know if Stephanie, there she is, okay. And then Truck Driver Instructor, Elvira Moreno. And we have one promotion this month, Director of Purchasing, Mr. Miguel A. Rangel. And we have 3 others that couldn't be here today, so we'll introduce them next month.
Okay.
Thank you all for joining our family. We welcome you and we thank you all for choosing to work at Laredo College. And we look forward to great things. I met many of you at orientation, so now's your opportunity to meet our wonderful board. And so thank you all for being here. Amazing, sorry, amazing board members.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome. Next item is number 6, Faculty Senate Report, Dr. Gilberto Martinez.
Dr. Gill couldn't be with us tonight, so we're gonna pass.
Okay. Next item are number 7, information items. 7A is Student Success Report, Dr. Fred Solis, Ms. Jessica Trevino.
And Madam Chair, they are stuck in an airport on their way back from a conference, and so we're also gonna have to defer that item till next month. I'm sorry.
Next item is 7B, update on adult education grants. Ms. Sandra Cortez.
Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. Dean Sandra Cortez is also stuck in a plane with a conference, but I do have her report. So Laredo College has once again been awarded the Texas Workforce Commission Adult Education and Literacy Grant for $988,025. This grant will provide English acquisition, GED preparation, family literacy, and workforce skills training in various in-demand areas. This grant will provide instructional access to approximately 1,000 individuals. Although that's what they require, we're going to shoot for more. We were also awarded a second Texas Workforce Commission grant, the Integrated Education Literacy and Civics Literacy Grant for $316,537. This grant will provide English acquisition and workforce skills training with civics integrated into the curriculum. This grant will give instructional access to approximately 275 individuals. The key goal of these grants is to help participants start career paths through adult education, move them into credentialing or licensing programs or degree-based workforce programs, and eventually transition them to the workforce or higher education.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Great, congratulations. Thank you. Next item is 7C, Global Import, Export, and Logistics Center, name change to Global Logistics Center. Dr. Heriberto Hernandez?
No,
no.
he's not.
He's at a board meeting for the Texas Workforce Solutions. So basically, it's just an information item. We're gonna rename the Global Import, Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs for the record. We're gonna rename the Global Import, Export, and Logistics Center to just Global Logistics Center. It came from the advisory council to kind of simplify it so it could be catchy and people remember the name as opposed to trying to remember all the words to the center. So,
Good,
Thank you.
thank you. Any questions? Next item is 7D, notification of the serving of alcoholic beverages at the Cason Student Center for the Laredo College Flamenco Festival as per Laredo College Board Policy, GDA Local, Community Expression and Use of College Facilities, conduct on college district premise. Dr. Minita Ramirez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board of Trustees, this is to let you all know that as part of our Flamenco Fest 2024, on Saturday, August the 3rd, we're having a very original, very typical flamenco tablado. And we've gotten some donations of adult beverages that we're going to be serving that evening as part of their purchase of tables. And so we needed to notify you that we're going to be doing that. And the program should be a sellout. I sure hope it is. And so for those that haven't yet bought their tickets for the Friday night show, there are still tickets available, and we have a few tables left for the Saturday night show. I know that the team has done an incredible job with this project, and this is just one more little accent on that event. So thank you all for those who are supporting this project, and if anybody out there still needs tickets, we still have tickets available. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez. Next item is 7E, Foreign Trade Zone Designation Request. Dr. Minita Ramirez?
Madam Chair, another information item, American Air Freight, Inc. Has requested a free trade zone track of 4,500 square feet. And that letter of authorization has already been sent back to them authorizing the free trade zone. If anyone is interested in seeing the map or more details, I'll be happy to share that with you.
Any questions? Thank you. 7F is Laredo College Employee Handbook. Ms. Veronica Cardenas?
Please come in.
Good afternoon, Veronica Cardenas, Executive Director of Human Resources. We're excited to announce the upcoming launch of our new employee handbook. We have provided you with an electronic copy of this current draft. We're finalizing still some minor details and working on some formatting, and we do expect to launch it in August for the 24-25 fiscal year. This handbook includes procedures, expectations, and the college's policies that align with our manual of policy. Now, the creation of this handbook has been a collaborative effort involving various departments, including marketing, campus police, IT, payroll, and others, as well, of course, as our executive team and the support of our president, Dr. Minita Ramirez. And together, we've worked diligently to ensure that the policies that are outlined in the handbook are clear, concise, and in compliance with regulations and legal standards. This was also reviewed by legal. Now, the employee handbook will be a living and working document that will undergo regular review and updates annually to reflect any changes that are exist in policy, procedures, or legal requirements. Our goal is for our employees to have access to the most current information regarding expectations, regulatory requirements, and local policies and procedures. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Ms. Cardenas. Next item is number 8, Board Committee Reports. 8A is Finance and Audit Committee Meeting Report. Mr. Jorge Delgado.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you, Board. We had a great and quickly moving Finance and Audit Committee meeting. We went over definitely our financial report. We actually had our first meeting with regards to our quarterly investment report. I think, oh, Cesar's not here.
He's
He's online.
Zoom.
Hey, buddy. I do want to make sure that if we haven't already, the entire board gets a copy of that quarterly investment report since it's our first one, and to make sure that we continue to get it every time it's been reported as well. There were some other purchases as far as for the Police Academy classroom as well as for the Event Services Department. Some updates with regards to our copy machines, and then of course my favorite, a subscription for Hack the Box cybersecurity training program. Overall, very good. Thank you, Madam Chair. That is all.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado. Next item is 8B, Building Committee Meeting Report. Mr. Mercurio Martinez. Mr. Martinez could not be here, so you want to do it?
Yeah, I could do it real quick.
So Mr. Rangel is going to go ahead and report on it.
So we went ahead and we met that same day of the finance committee meeting. There were a couple of items. One is replacement of a chiller on P1. That one is a replacement. The South Campus is getting a repair on a chiller. So that one is a repair, so just keep that note. We did have a lengthy conversation on repair, on timeline, timeframe, cost, and what's the lifespan of that repair. Mr. Vela went ahead and said that it's the company's giving us almost like 10 years of a lifespan, being that it's going to be a repair. The last one that we had was MFA is getting a roof a replacement on it. So I believe it was 1.3 million for that replacement on the roof on the MFA, long overdue. So those were 3 items. That's what we got.
Thank you, Mr. Rangel. Next item is 8C, Program Policy Committee Meeting. Ms. Jackie Levin Ramos.
Madam Chair, Ms. Erica Garcia will provide the report.
Yes, we also had a very good meeting yesterday, and it was also a short meeting, but we discussed several items. One of them was the handbook that Ms. Cardenas went over already, so I'm not going to do that. She let us know what she needed to yesterday. The next one is the approval of modifications to the Laredo College Board Policy DMB, local termination of employment tenure. And I know that Dr. Tijerina will be going over that later on, but I just, want to let you know that the staff recommends that the revisions to the DMB local policy be approved effective August the 1st. Senate Bill 18 and the Texas Education Code 51-942 impacted faculty, particularly tenured faculty. One of the items that the Texas Education Code 51.942 states is to add a summary dismissal of a tenured faculty member based on a finding that the faculty member committed a serious misconduct. It's important for the policy to define serious misconduct and summary dismissal. Therefore, this content, as well as other items, need to be revised to reflect the update on terminating tenured faculty. Okay. Then we went on to the next item, and these were just to approve modifications, and these were very simple. It was just basic wording and moving from one department to another, or if that department didn't exist anymore, then we moved it to another department. The first one was the approval modifications to the following policies. DGA, local employee rights and privileges, freedom of association. We changed the reference from the Associate Vice President of Student Life and Engagement to the Office of Student Life. The next one was DGC, local employee rights and privileges, employee expression and use of college facilities. The change references from Office of Strategic External Initiatives to the Office of Compliance and Risk Management. Next was DHC, local employee standards of conduct, employee solicitations. change references from the Office of Strategic and External Initiatives to the Office of Compliance and Risk Management. Next was the FI Local Student Solicitations. We changed the references from Associate Vice President of Student Life and Engagement to the Director of Student Life. Next was FKC Local Student Activities, Registered Student Organizations. Also, a reference change from Associate Vice President of Student Life and Engagement to the Director of Student Life. Also, FLA Local Student Rights and Responsibilities, Student Expression and Use of College Facilities. Change references from the Associate Vice President of Student Life and Engagement to the Director of Student Life, and revise the language to persons' unlawful conduct on common outdoor area exception, which is the person's conduct is unlawful, including but not limited to expression that is considered prohibited harassment and anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination, where before it had like such as, now it is direct in its statement, okay? GD Local Community Expression and Use of College Facilities, change references from the Office of Strategic and External Initiatives to the Office of Event Services. And lastly, GL Local Relations with Businesses and the Community, changes references from the Senior Director of Strategic and External Initiatives to Public Information Officer, Television Podcast Productions Director. And those were the changes that they made, we're proposing to make.
Good job.
Thank you, Mrs. Garcia. Next item is number 9, consent agenda. We have, I'm sorry? Oh. We have 9A, June 2024 financial report, 9B, May 2024 quarterly investment report, 9C, approval for purchase of audiovisual equipment for Police Academy classroom, 9D, approval for the purchase of washer dryer for the Event Services Department, 9E, approval of 36-month copier lease agreement, 9F, approval of 3-year subscription to the Hack the Box cybersecurity training platform, 9G, approval for chiller line replacement at Building P1, formerly Lopez Nursing Building, 9H is approval for repairs to South Campus chiller, number 3, 9I, approval of construction contract for the Martinez Fine Arts Center rooftop restoration program.
Madam Chair, I motion to approve item
Second.
9A to 9I.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mr. Rangel, and I have a second by Mrs. Levin Ramos. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So number 10 is discussion and possible action. I know, Karina left. So your aye? Okay. So motion carries. Discussion and possible action 10A, approve 2024. The board will now consider the discussion and possible action items. The first item is 10A, approve 2024 certification of the tax roll. This is one of 3 items that address Laredo College proposed tax rate and the tax roll. Please know that the board will not be adopting a tax rate tonight. That will be done next month. Mr. Cesar Vela, Ms. Patricia Barrera, and Ms. Marielena Morales will present item 10A to the board. Mr. Vela, I will now turn this item over to you.
Yes, good evening, Madam President, members of the board. For the record, Cesar Vela, VP of Finance and Administration. This next item is just to have approval on the 2024 certification of the tax roll as being presented by Ms. Patricia Barrera and Ms. Maria Elena Morales from the Webb County Tax Office. These are the rolls that have already been certified by the Webb County Appraisal District. So at this moment, I'll go ahead and ask Ms. Morales and Ms. Barrera to present the numbers to the board.
Madam President, members of the board, my name is Maria Elena Morales. For the record, I'm the Chief Deputy for the Tax Assessor, Webb County Tax Assessor Collector. Ms. Barrera sends her apologies. She had a last-minute emergency and couldn't be here. The first item is the one about the presentation, hopefully for approval of the 2024 certified tax roll. We submitted to Mr. Vela, and I think that he did make that available to the board. The numbers, it looks like this. Yes, okay.
If I may share my screen, I believe I have that form.
Does he have the ability to share? Go ahead. Go ahead, Cesar.
Thank you.
There it
There it
is.
There you are. Now, the first part, items 1 through 4, is the actual valuations that are given to you, and that total $30,346,564,072. That is the total market value. Of course, we know that taxes are not based on market value. They're going to be based on net taxable values. But that is the total market value of the property that is located within the LC College, within the Laredo College boundaries. The next items, which are 5 through 13, are what are called exemptions. And they're various miscellaneous exemptions, basically meaning that they reduce your total market value by the sum of $6,063,623,738, leaving you with a net taxable value of $23,909,199,311. Then we have what is called the limit, item 14, the limit taxable value of $1,544,428,020. What that means is then when it's adjusted, you end up with a freeze-adjusted taxable value of $22,364,771,291. Just for the record, and so that you know, this is actually like a little bit over $2 billion increase in net taxable value from last year. So the valuations, because it's a result of, new improvements, new buildings, all of that has brought up, and new valuations is going to give you about $2 billion plus more in taxable values. So that is the certified tax roll that we would like for the board to approve and accept.
I call on a member of the board to make a motion.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rangel. I have a second by Mr. Delgado. Any discussion?
Ma'am.
None heard? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We will now proceed to item 10B, which reads, approve the anticipated collections for 2024 and the excess debt collections for 2023. Mr. Vela, can you continue?
Yes, members of the board, this next item, again, will be presented by Ms. Morales, and this is just to approve the anticipated collections for 2024. Ms. Morales?
Yes. And I will read it into the record, and it just says, I, Patricia Barrera, Webb County Tax Assessor Collector, as your tax collector for Laredo College, hereby certified that the excess collections for debt service, now this is only what we were supposed to collect so that you could pay your debt, which is the interest and sinking fund for the year 2023, is 301,402.67. Now that means that you all asked us to collect a certain amount of money, and we collected over that sum, the $301,000. Now that affects because you get, there's a credit to what you have to collect this year, and you'll see that when we present the truth and taxation. So the $301,000 is in excess of what we were supposed to collect for you. Further certify that the anticipated collection rate for the year 2024 will be 100%. I would like at this point to thank Mr. Vela for working very closely with us in going over the numbers to make sure that we do present true and accurate numbers for you. And like I said, as we go into the next item, if the Madam Chair would call out the next item.
We have to vote separately.
We need to vote on this one first.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
That's okay.
apologize.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Okay, so let me, okay, so the motion was made by Mr. Rangel, second by Mr. Delgado. Question, Ms. Ramos.
Mr. Muir, in 10B, it says approve the anticipated collections for 2024 and the excess debt collections for 2024. And it should read excess collection debts for 2023.
That's correct.
Correct?
Yes.
It should read
that's correct.
2023.
So is that, do we need to?
No, I think the agenda item is fine. You should make, the motion should include the year 2023.
Okay, so
For
if one,
excess debt
whoever's
collection.
making could just indicate it.
And this-
Yes, I
this
think that
will-
somebody should make a motion to approve the anticipated collections for 2024 and the excess debt collections for 2023. Someone could second that motion.
As amended by what Mr. Muir said.
Okay, so I have an amended motion by Mr. Rangel,
Second.
second by Mr. Delgado.
Thank you, Ms. Ramos.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I request from the tax collector an updated forms for our records?
Yes,
Okay,
I will
thank you.
submit some.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Next item is 10C, take action on tax rate to discuss, take a record vote, schedule a public hearing, and meeting to adopt a tax rate. Mr. Cesar Vela?
Yes, members of the board, for this next item, we are going to ask that the item be deferred to the August 6th special board meeting. We're currently working with the tax office on the calculation of the tax rate for the 2024 year.
Madam Chair,
Okay.
motion to defer?
So I have a
Second.
motion by Mr. Delgado to defer, I have a second by Mrs. Ramos. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
I-
opposed? Motion carries. Yes, Mrs. Morales.
I would just request that we do it at the next special meeting. I believe that you're having one on the 6th.
August the 6th.
Yes.
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 And
That's
no-
what we deferred it to August the 6th.
Thank you, Ms.
Yes.
Morales.
Thank you, Mrs. Morales.
Thank you, and thank you again, Mr. Vela, for working so closely with us and working on those billion numbers. that we
I
need to
know.
work on. May I be
Thank you.
excused? I
Thank you,
have
Ms.
no
Morales.
further business.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
The next item is 10D, approval of change order, time extension request, Arechica Hall and Lamar Bruni Vergara projects. Mr. Cesar Vela, Mr. Homero Pais. I also see Mr. Linedecker, and I also see Mr. Cavazos on the,
Yes,
on
good
the
evening,
audience.
board members. I believe Homer's on the podium, so
Yes.
I'll go ahead and defer to Homer then. Thank you.
Oh, you're sharing.
You need to stop sharing, Mr. Vela.
Your screen.
There we go.
Good evening, board members, president of the board, president of Laredo College, Dr. Manita. We're here today to present an approval for an extension for two particular jobs that we currently have going on. One is the Arechiga Hall, and the other one is the Lamar Bruni Vergara. We do have some formal letters that were submitted by Mr. Paul Linedecker. I'm not sure if you all have a copy of them or not.
We do, well, I
Okay.
do.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the phone.
So the dates are noted on there. The Arechiga Hall is being requested for 87 days of an extension. And the Lamar Bruni Vergara is being requested for an extension of 78 days. The dates of the current substantial completion and updates are noted on the formal letters. And also the updated final completion dates are also noted on the letters that were submitted by Linedecker Construction of Texas. At this time, if you have any questions regarding the extensions, we're here to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions, board?
Motion to approve.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel. I have a second by Mrs. Ramos. Any questions? I have one. How much is it gonna cost us, these extensions?
Mr. Linedecker can come up, but the two former letters do note at the very bottom that these extensions request does not affect the current contract prices. So there is no increase on the contract amounts for the two extensions.
So all the material and everything, we already have it?
Pretty much, yeah. The contractor is currently working, on both projects. We haven't, required any extra materials or, so there won't be an increase on the contract amount. They're coming to us for an extension of time, to go ahead and reach substantial and final completion for both projects. And they are moving on both projects. Both of them have turned out to be, a little complicated, a little difficult. We've uncovered some unknown things and we've had to attend to them and bring the team together to discuss and resolve the items that we have run into.
So is there a possibility there'll be another extension?
I don't think so.
Will you let
I think
Mr.
it's a-
Linedecker? I think
it's
Mr.
sufficient time.
Linedecker wants to speak, Madam Chair.
Sure.
Gary Linedecker for the record. Your first question, when we're requesting this kind of time, we never come to you and ask you for additional cost. I mean, we don't operate our company. That's not allowed in our organization. If you were delaying the project for some reason that we couldn't proceed and we had, and it in some way affected the acquisition and of materials and higher prices, if that was even a thought, we would come to you first and say, look, we need to get this thing going before we get some type of price increase. But in our 30 years of working for the college here, we have never done that, and I don't anticipate we will ever do it. So I want to put everybody's mind at ease because I know that subject has come up a couple of times. As to your other question about additional time, for example, Arechiga is it's not a difficult project, but it's a surprise project. So there are other things that will come up there. In fact, we had discussions today. We're going to have to find some way to repair the attic up there so we can get so the fire department will give us a CO when we're complete. So we've got some issues that we will have to address at some point, and that may entail some additional work, but we'll certainly sit down with you all and see what it's going to entail, because right now, if you're in the attic, you can fall through the attic to the second floor. So for safety reasons and for fire reasons, those will have to be addressed at some point. That's just one example. But when you work on a project like these two, you're always going to come up with something that, they're very old projects. Nobody knew that that was in the ground 3 feet deep and we're going to have to relocate it. But it's pretty normal. I mean, I don't see anything on these projects that bother me at this point. If there was, I would sit down with your president over here and make her fully aware of it. But nothing's really bothering me at this point. They may drag on a little longer, but I wouldn't worry about additional costs because of time.
Madam Chair.
So
Go ahead.
Chair recognizes Mr. Delgado and then Dr. Ramirez.
Get a discount? My real question is directed to Dr. Ramirez. With regards, especially for the Environmental Science Center, is there, because of this delay, is there, with regards to the personnel or any equipment that's supposed to be, I guess, installed in there, animals or anything of that sort, is there going to cause any, I guess, extra expense on behalf of the college because of this delay?
Well, the animals right now that we have are being housed in the casitas. And so the personnel is working on them in the casitas and taking care of them. And those that need to be taken out for walks and things are still they're still being cared for and taken care of. We do have a couple of the pens in the back that still have animals in them. And so they're kind of working over and under the construction that's happening to make sure that those animals are taken care of. And it will be a huge upgrade for us once the project is finished, for sure. My question was, Mr. Bice gave us numbers that are different from the letters that Mr. Leindecker submitted to us. I think you said 78 days and 87 days on the other, and on the letter, one says 60 days and the other one says 66 days. So I just want to make sure we're clear, Mr. Leindecker. I don't want to, if we're going to approve the 78 and 87, the letters don't stipulate that. I just don't know which days or how many days that's going to officially be. Okay?
What I believe it was, there was two delays on each letter. One was for weather and one was for additional work and other associated things, right? But they kind of run concurrent.
Right.
So that's sort of the way that our staff came up with the time, because, for example, if you look at, well, let's just pick one of them. Let's pick the Environmental Center. There was a request for 78, I'm sorry, there was a request for 66 days for delayed material delivery, and there was another request for 49 days for rain time.
Mm-hmm.
If you add those up, those exceed the 78 days,
Correct.
because some of that time is running concurrently.
Concurrently,
So
right.
so we're not going to ask you for, if we're waiting for something that hasn't shown up and it rains, we're not going to ask you for a
Correct.
rain day, vice versa too.
No, I
So-
get that. I just want to
Yeah.
clarify, because the way it looks on the letter right now, it looks like if the number that pops out is 66. So if it's on the Environmental Center, we're saying it's 87 days on the Environmental Center. Is that correct?
No, I
No,
believe
78.
Arechiga was 87.
Yeah.
and-
It's
and-
87.
and the-
Arechiga's 87 and Lamar's 78.
Just for clarification purposes, so that everybody is fully aware of the number, and I don't want, because then we get confused.
Right, right.
Chair recognizes Mr. Rangel.
Yes, I just want to put my 2 cents into this, as you all know, I work for LISD in the operational side, so completely understand when Mr. Leindecker is talking about, let's say, we go to the Arechica building compared to Lamar Bruni Vergara, it's like a brand new building. And we used to be housed downtown, so we would run into houses that we would have to place, staff. And you break down a wall and it gives you 10 problems, from roofing, flooring, AC, electrical. And then you have to still, ask for the inspection to be made, because the inspection that was made was done 5, 10, 20, 30 years ago. So you have to update that. So completely understand that type of project. So, and then you have to throw it back to the architects so they could be able to go back to the drawing board and see what they could possibly do with the building. So completely understand it. So hopefully it does turn out to be a beautiful project. It is a beautiful building, historical. So, I just want to put my 2 cents into that. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am, call for the
Okay.
question.
And the reason I was asking is because our buildings do create different situations when, they start getting remodeled, and that's why I was asking. So I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you.
Next item is 10E, approve modification to Laredo College Board Policy, DMB Local, termination of employment tenure, Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina.
Madam Chair, may I,
Chair
interject?
recognizes Mrs. Ramos.
May I make the motion to approve the modifications to Laredo College Board Policy DMB Local, termination of employment tenure. Because Ms. Garcia had explained it, but if you want to add anything else to it, I just wanted to, interject before.
So I have a motion to approve 10F. Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
10 ma'am.
I'm sorry, 10E. I have a second by Mrs. Garcia. Any questions? Any discussion? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Tijerina. 10F, approval of designated non-business days for open records request. Dr. David Arreola.
Good evening, members of the board. Dr. David Arazola, Vice President of Compliance and Risk Management for the record. Last year, House Bill 3033 came into effect, and what it does is for the Public Information Act, it names certain non-business days. So anything that's a religious holiday, a state holiday, or national holiday is considered a non-business day for the intent of the Public Information Act. We are allowed as an institution to name 10 additional non-business days, but all of this has to have board approval. So in your packets, you'll see all the non-business dates are designated by the state. And in that table, anywhere where it just says designated non-business days, those are days that we have noted as we have named ourselves. A lot of those are aligned to when the institution is closed, either for Thanksgiving holidays or Christmas holidays or any other type of holidays. But just because it's on the list doesn't mean that the college is closed. We'll be open for a lot of these. It's just, if it's a federal or state holiday, it doesn't count towards the 10 days in which we have to respond to a public information request.
Motion to approve.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel. I have a second by Mrs. Ramos. Any discussion? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 10G is approved modifications to the following Laredo College Board policies. DGA local, yes.
Madam Chair, I believe this was read as part of the report for the policy by Ms. Erica Benavides. So I'd like
Okay.
to motion to approve.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Mr. Rangel. Any discussion? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is executive session, 11A, meeting with Laredo College attorney pursuant to sections 551.071 and 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to discuss legal issues relating to the procedure for processing complaints under the Laredo College Board of Trustees Employee Grievance Policies.
Motion to go to executive session?
Okay, so I have a motion by Mrs. Ramos. I have a second by Mr. Rangel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
So at this time, it is 7:04, and we will be going into executive session to discuss item 11A. Thank you. It is 7:48. We are reconvening from closed session. And the board took no action in executive session. So we're gonna continue with our agenda. Next item is number 12, President's Remarks. 12A is Campus Police Personnel and Travel Reports. 12B is President Remarks. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members. I appreciate your patience. We've got so many things going on, but certainly the big things coming up is our graduation coming up. You have a list of events that are happening in the next couple of weeks, which are fully jam-packed. The next week is our executives TAC meeting in Austin, and Dr. Tijerina, Dr. Ariasola, Mr. Vela, and myself will be attending that meeting. So we'll be gone. I'm leaving on Tuesday because I've got committee meetings on Tuesday evening. And then the rest of the team is heading out on Wednesday. We'll all be back hopefully on Friday. But at the same time, we have next week our Flamenco Fest, which I spoke about earlier. It is the first time we're trying to do something like this. We're learning. Certainly, we're all learning together through this process. The idea is, how do we promote our dance department and the things that they're doing? And then how do we highlight those students that have been through our program and are now attending four-year institutions, and creating those seamless transitions to our four-year partners so that they can continue their studies. And this is one way that we're hoping to initiate and create excitement about what we have to offer at Laredo College. And this is just one of the many things. As you all know, throughout the year, we have different events and different programs that highlights the things that we're doing in our different workforce and academic programming. And so this is one more hopeful event. And I do want to highlight that the initial funding for it is coming from a grant that we received from the Prairie Foundation to cover almost all of the cost, not all of it, but about 85% of it. So we're very excited, and hopefully you all will make it to at least one of the shows. This summer, Dr. Tijerina, and she hasn't really said anything, but I'm gonna brag a little bit about some of the work they've done. They've been doing these summer academies with the chairs and the deans and some of the program directors in preparation of the next academic year. And they've been working all summer. They've done some amazing work. And so we're really proud, and I wanted to acknowledge Dr. Tijerina and her team for putting that on together and making that happen. Dr. Ortiz and Mr. Gonzalez just came back from the CASE conference, and they came back with fresh and new ideas about how we're going to continue to do that work. And the team that hasn't returned yet from the Noel Levitt's conference, which is where I presented on the first day of the conference yesterday. I think it was, no, Tuesday. Ya ni me acuerdo. I think it was Tuesday. We have a team of 5 people there as well. And so how do we help grow our internally? How do we help grow our middle management, and then those aspiring to get into either the middle management area or into upper management areas? And so the idea is, the more that we can participate in opportunities like this, the more our team is prepared and certainly stronger to tackle some of the day-to-day operational things that we need to tackle. Convocation will shortly follow that on the 12th. Graduation is August 9th. Thank you. And so everything is happening within these next 2 weeks. It's very compressed. And just be reminded that for convocation, we will be kicking off our 5th year review for SACS. And so that's very important for us. It is January to August, and our timeline is very, very tight for our submissions. Right now, we're a little ahead of the timeline, and we want to stay that way. But Dr. Ariasola is leading that charge with his team, Dr. Veronica Martinez, and so we're we're following their lead, and they just got back from the SACS conference in New Orleans. And so they came back with a lot of changes to some of the SACS requirements, and so we're gonna start to work on some of those things. And so Dr. Jeffrey Klein, who is our liaison with SACS, will be here for convocation. He will be our keynote speaker in the morning and then meeting with different groups in the afternoon. And finally, just to kind of summarize, our strategic planning committee is near the end of completing our strategic plan. And we're very excited to kick that off this fall as well. Hopefully, the writers of our strategic plan have completed the final work. Dr. Debbie Gaitan, who is our consultant, was here last week, and she spent the day with our writing team working on some of the final initiatives. And so we're thrilled with that. And we've been meeting with our school district partners. We've been getting ready for the fall semester. We're working on some really strong initiatives, I think, to have a very strong FY25, and we're really excited about that. You'll hear more as the next few weeks unfold, but certainly we're very grateful to you all for your continued support of all of our initiatives, because we couldn't do it without you. And hopefully allowing for our community to continue to grow and prosper, and not just professionally, but economically. And so we appreciate your support, but we also need your participation. So please know that if for some reason a reminder doesn't go out, you have your calendar of events coming up, and hopefully you will join us for those events. Yesterday, you all may have seen on the news an initiative that we're working on for housing for homeless folks in our community. And I know Ms. Cepeda was present, Dr. Tijerina and Mr. Pedro Rivera were there representing the college. That's a huge initiative for us. I don't know that people really understand that college students not only are typically the poorest, the hungriest, they're the sickest because they don't have health insurance. And now we're finding out they're also the most homeless population. And so this initiative with this community nonprofit organization has been extremely well received. We took up our slots within several weeks. I mean, it didn't take us but like 3 or 4 weeks to fill up all of our allocated slots. And so one of the gentlemen that spoke last night is currently one of our students. And so we're real proud of his success. He's doing some amazing things. And I think programs like that speak volumes for the care and the concern that you all have, that our administrative team and our staff have for our students. And so thank you for doing that. We will kick off this fall our Student Health and Wellness Center. You'll meet Ms. Grace Lopez next week. Next month. She wasn't able to join us tonight. She's with that group at the No Levitz conference. And she is very quickly moving along with our health clinic and the services that we're going to provide both here and at the South Campus. So we're really excited about that project as well. So with that, you have in your packets also the police report for the week, and I'm not going to go through that. I think you all can do that. And if there are no questions from you to me, Madam Chair, I'm done with my report. Did I leave anything out?
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Can I say one more thing? August 6th and 7th, we're doing the professional development for our UISD and LISD dual credit teachers here on campus. And so we'll have them here, and it is being led through the provost office. So we're gonna have, hopefully, all of our dual credit teachers here for their trainings. I know, but we did it, we did it, we've done it the last several years, and it's worked out really well for them. They get to ask the questions live, face to face, and so that's, I think, critical for all of us.
Just a quick note on that.
Chair recognizes Mr.
You
Rangel.
probably are gonna do it, but maybe we could also educate them on the public message.
Yes,
You know,
and so
I
we
think
will,
because and the reason why I'm saying that, Doc, is because a lot of people have been questioning me on the LISD part, like, hey, you guys just got this, and I was like, yeah, so I'm not into, I know what was told to us, how it was gonna work, but I know it has its little avenues of how exactly it's gonna work, but I have told them that it's a great initiative that the board took, and then also, the president's office. So if we could, follow up, especially también on the teacher side, because the teachers could probably have that one-on-one with a lot of students, and they could probably tell them. So not just the counselor side, but also teachers. I think it's a great thing.
and we have the two Palomino Saturdays coming up. So this Saturday is at the South Campus, and then on August 17th, we have the last Palomino Saturday here on this campus. And so all of our offices will be open on Saturday, on those two Saturdays, so that people can come in and take care of paperwork, get registered, do whatever they need to do. But also, coming up probably in early September is our counselors update.
Yes.
And so we invite all the counselors from all of the high schools to come in and the administrators, so that we can provide data and information to them about how they did last year, and then what the expectations are for this year. And certainly the highlight of that will be the Palomino Pledge.
Yes, that's a great thing. Good job, Doc.
Anybody else?
I think we're good.
Thank you, everybody, for everything that you're doing for our college. Next items of 13 is the next meeting dates and upcoming events. We have July 30th through August the 3rd, the Flamenco Fest, Tuesday, August 6th. At 6 p.m., we have a special board of trustees meeting. Friday, August the 9th, 9 a.m. to 12 noon is graduation ceremonies. Monday, August the 12th at 8 a.m., the Laredo College Fall 2024 convocation at the Martinez Fine Arts Center. Monday, August the 12th at 4:30 p.m., Laredo College Employee Recognition Ceremony at the Martinez Fine Arts Center. Thursday, August 22nd, 6 p.m., regular monthly Board of Trustees meeting.
Madam Chair?
Yes. Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
Thank you. Just on graduation ceremonies, the first ceremony is at 9 and the second ceremony is at 1. And both, and only because of time in between, and we don't want to rush people out. And if they want to take photographs and things, we don't want to be pushing them out to get the next group in. So I believe it's 9 and 1 or 9 and 12, but I'll verify that and get that to you.
Where? 12.
Oh, yeah, 9 and 12. That's correct. All right, I'm sorry.
Where is it gonna be at?
At the MFA.
The MFA.
Yes, that's in the Martinez Fine Arts, 9 and 12. Yes. And so there's time in between so that everybody can get out leisurely and then get back in. And we have time to clean and reset and keep going.
Okay. Any other questions?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Rangel. I have a second by Mr. Delgado and Mrs. Ramos. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, Cesar.
Good night.
Oh, my goodness. Who did this data?
Thank you, sir.